back to the highlight reel. So we're going to do something a little different this week, as we're going to talk about the Miami Grand Prix that happened just over the weekend. So Oscar Piastri gets another win this year for McLaren, and honestly, I think he's had it like the entire race. I think McLaren was just a faster car all weekend, and I think Piastri deserved to win the race.
Yeah, 100%. Oscar Piastri is on an absolute tear right now this season. The first McLaren driver, right here I have it, the first McLaren driver to win 3 straight races in 28 years. He extends his lead in the World Drivers' Championship over his teammate Lando Norris, who, by the way, it was a great race from Norris. Like he was outright faster than Piastri. Like he had more pace, but it was that little incident in the beginning with Verstappen that pushed Norris back, and he had to play from behind that whole race. And he almost did it. Maybe if there was like a few more laps, he could have made it a fight. But yeah, taking nothing away from Piastri there, he's looking as good as ever.
Yeah, McLaren were the faster car. I think. Verstappen and maybe Antonelli were in the race too. I mean, Antonelli, he got pole for the sprint race on Friday, but that rainy Miami weather, it didn't do Antonelli any favors.
Yeah, no, and fair play to him as a rookie. He is in the Mercedes, so he does have the best. He's in the best spot out of all the rookies, but he is still a rookie and he's performing well. He's he's ahead of Lewis Hamilton in the Drivers' Championship standings, which is insane to think. But I guess not really this season, because Ferrari has not been what we thought they were. They've the highest. Sure, Leclerc did get that podium. He got the 3rd place back in Saudi Arabia a few weeks ago. But as for Hamilton, the highest he's placed was 5th, and I think that there's got to be some underlying issues there that they need to go over.
Yeah, I mean the Ferrari car has just been so inconsistent this year. I mean, it is. Ferrari are the most underperforming team, and I think the most disappointing team so far this season.
They don't even have 100 points yet. They're sitting at 94.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis Hamilton, you get a big driver like him to come in the car and replace, I think, a phenomenal driver who shouldn't have been let go but had to for obvious reasons. But, I mean, Lewis Hamilton needs to step it up for Ferrari. This year is probably the worst Ferrari season I've ever seen from them, because with the expectations, our expectations are very high.
Yeah, some people thought they would win the Constructors' Championship outright. Some people thought Leclerc or Hamilton would win the Drivers' Championship, and it's absolutely not looking like that so far.
Leclerc was complaining about the brakes all race, and I think that's something that they need to fix for their home race next up. But honestly, the Lego car was faster than the
yeah, that was fun to watch, but yeah, seriously, it was not a good race for them.
So now we're going to talk about the Constructors' Championship and our predictions. So first place we have McLaren, second place we have Red Bull, Mercedes is in 3rd place, and then Ferrari is in 4th place. Those are the top 4.
Yeah, those are really the only 4 teams that are in contention, and even I'm going to go as far as to say as McLaren just locked it up right there with that 1-2. That was their second 1-2 of the season. The only team that even has one 1-2 in the season, they have 2. They're sitting at 246. Mercedes is in second at 141, so it's over a 100-point gap. I don't see that getting any smaller anytime soon. McLaren is they've built an absolute rocket ship over there, and Piastri and Norris are just so talented. I think that's pretty much locked up. However, second place between Mercedes and Red Bull, that's going to be interesting, and maybe Ferrari too if they could come back. But because George Russell has looked great for Mercedes, he's finished in the top 5 every race, and Antonelli's been doing his thing. And sure, Verstappen's Verstappen, but you need 2 drivers if you want to perform in the championship. We saw it last year when they lost their lead because Perez wasn't performing, and it's the same thing this year.
Yeah, the thing with Red Bull, I think they have a very good car. They just don't have 2 top-notch drivers. They've been back and forth between Lawson and Tsunoda over the last few years. But, I think if Red Bull get that second driver, and maybe it could be Tsunoda, I could be wrong. But I think as soon as they find that second driver, if Tsunoda starts to step up, I think Red Bull can maybe compete with McLaren for the top.
Yeah, well, they're sitting currently 36 points behind Mercedes at 105, and as for the like end of the season. I know we still have like 3/4 of the season left, but I think it'll stay. I think McLaren, Mercedes, Red Bull is how it's going to stay.
I think Mercedes is going to get better as the season goes on. They always do, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And then Ferrari, I think Ferrari will also get a little better too. But but if they don't start picking up the pace soon, I think they should just scrap the season and focus on the 2026 car.
Yeah. So now let's just get into the more interesting standings, the driver standings, and I have here. There's 4 contenders in my opinion. We got Piastri at 131, Norris at 115, Verstappen at 199, Verstappen at 99, and Russell at 93. So all those 4 are only separated by, I believe, 32 points.
I mean, this time last year Verstappen was at 199, but
yeah, well, but still, all 4 of those drivers have what it takes to win, in my opinion, and we're still so early on.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of those McLaren guys is going to win it, whether it's going to be Piastri or Norris. I mean, I would really want to see Norris win it between those 2 McLaren drivers. I mean, he's just been there for all of his career, or most of his career. And, I think, Norris has just been loyal. He's been through the whole... Yeah,
100%. He's been through it all. And made a mistake earlier. It's 38 points. So Piastri's at 131. Russell's 38 points back at 93. And I think anything can happen. If I'm going to say who I think will win, I think Lando Norris is gonna find some pace in the second half of the season. I think he's gonna lock in. He's only 16 points back, and I think he'll get it. Piastri is a phenomenal driver, but I think this is Norris' season.
I think also within the team, McLaren is also going
to 100%.
Piastri's, let's just say second to last race of the season, was it like Las Vegas or something?
It's Qatar, and then Abu Dhabi's the last.
Okay,
so
Qatar. What if Piastri's up by 5 points and he's leading ahead of his teammate Lando Norris, and they decide to reverse the car?
I mean, that might be a bit wild, but Norris is definitely I think he's still their golden boy, and if they want to win, if they want to win a drivers' championship, I think he's the one that they want to win it with, just because of what he's been through with them. So I do think he'll end up winning at the end of the year, but I do expect Piastri to get one at some point, 100%, along with Russell too. I think all 4 of those drivers with Verstappen, it's going to be a great drivers' championship battle.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's it for us on the Miami Grand Prix and Formula One, but up next is me and Smitty talking about hockey.
Hello and welcome back to the Highlight Reel. I'm Smitty and this is Nick Lynch. This week we're going to be talking about how the first round ended and our predictions on the second round. To start off, in the Eastern Conference, it was Ottawa versus Toronto, and Toronto won this series 4-2. Toronto, they had a great series. Ottawa almost came back, but they couldn't get the job done. They won a huge game for Game 5, going back home, thinking that they can win. Definitely, Brady Tkachuk definitely thought him and his team with that 4-0 win definitely could have gone up and might have beaten Toronto, but they couldn't get the job done. So the series was 4-2 in Game 6.
Yeah, I mean, Toronto was up 3-0 in Game 4. Ottawa scores the overtime winner. But, after that, Ottawa won another game. They shut out the Maple Leafs in Toronto.
Yeah.
And I honestly thought they could have forced a Game 7, but the Maple Leafs were just a better team.
Yeah, and with three overtime games back to back to back, that's a lot of overtime games, a lot of extra time, a lot of players getting definitely exhausted. So it was a good series for Ottawa, but I don't think they're just ready yet for big playoff games like that. But moving on, we had the Panthers versus Tampa, Battle of Florida, and Florida won 4-1. Just a great series by them. They won 6-2 in the first game, 2-0 in the second. But then the Lightning, when they went to Florida first game, they won 5-1. So it was good. They were starting to come back, but they just couldn't get the job done again. So then the Panthers won 4-2 and then 6-3. So just a great series for the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, Matthew Tkachuk returning from an injury for Florida Panthers. I mean, I thought Florida was going to be a better team than they were at the end of the regular season. But after that game 3, I thought Tampa could have come back and won. But
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, but I think Florida's just too overpowered.
Yeah.
Moving on, we have Montreal versus the Hurricanes and another domination series. Carolina won 4-1. So, or not Mon.
Wait, let's see what you're talking about.
Oh, I messed it up. I'll just cut it. Moving on, we have Montreal versus the Capitals. Another domination series, 4-1 Washington. Washington won 3-2 in overtime. So that was the first game, and then they won 3-1. So the 2 games at home they won. But then going back to Montreal, just a brand new atmosphere. Playoff hockey there is just electric. So Canada won or the Canadians won in orderly fashion there, 6-3. So, but then the next 2 games they lost 5-2 and 4-1. So they put up a good fight, but just not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious Washington was the better team heading into this. And like you said, yeah, Montreal put up a good fight, but there was no way they were going to win this series.
No.
Washington was just a better team
Yeah.
in that series.
Yeah, exactly. And then lastly in the East, we have the Devils and the Hurricanes. And once again, another domination series. Hurricanes won 4-1. They won the first 2 games. Devils won in overtime back home for their first playoff game in like 5 years, right?
2 years.
2 years. Well, oh well. But but then the Hurricanes won 5-2 and then 5-4 in double overtime. So they put up a good fight in that last game, but they couldn't get the job done.
Yeah, I mean, another series where Carolina was the better team overall.
Yeah.
I mean, the Devils just got pummeled with injuries all series long, and I don't think they stood a chance.
No, I think just like Devils injuries and everything, I just don't think they were able to get the job done. They were playing with hurt guys. They were playing without their best player. So I think it was definitely a hard series for them. But they put up a decent fight. But like I said, injuries, everything will cost them. Now moving into the Western Conference, Winnipeg won 4-3, which what a great series this was. Jets went up 2-0, and then going back to the Blues, they tied it up 2-2. And then going back home, the Jets won 5-3. And then Game 6 back in St. Louis, they won 5-2. And then just what an unbelievable Game 7.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only series that every home team has won.
Yep.
And, yeah, what a Game 7 it was. I mean, I was watching the game. St. Louis went up 3-1 in the third period.
I thought it was over.
Yeah, I thought it was over, too. And then with 1 second left, Winnipeg tied
Cole
the game.
Cole Perfetti, baby.
Yeah.
What a tip. What a placement. I think it was Morrissey or Panik who shot it, either one of them. But, no, I think Panik shot it in overtime. Morrissey, I think, shot it in for 1 second left. Just a great tip. Great knowing where to be on the ice. Just that's hockey IQ right there. So but unfortunately, bad luck for the Blues. They couldn't get the job done, and the Jets won in overtime with a tip by Adam Lowry. So great series. Definitely probably one of the best series out of the whole entire first round.
That was more of a series than it should have been.
Yeah. And then moving on, we have Colorado versus Dallas. Another great series, another Game 7 series. Avalanche won the first game. Stars won the second game in overtime. And then also Stars won again in overtime for Game 3, 2-1. So right off the bat, 3 great games. And then Avalanche just took away. They won 4-0. And then the Stars won 6-2. And then the Avalanche won 7-4. So just great game so far. And then what a great Game 7 by Mikko Rantanen, an ex-Avalanche player. He had a hat trick. Just a great game.
I mean, again, going into the third period, Dallas were trailing by a multi-goal deficit, and they scored 3 goals in the third period to win Game 7.
Yeah.
And Colorado.
Just
what a game.
What a game from Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah.
Seriously, like hat trick in playoffs against your old team in Game 7 back home. Just what a great atmosphere it was. What a great game for him.
Yeah.
And then moving on, we have the Wild versus Vegas. Vegas won this series 4-2. Like, it was a good series and all, but Vegas is just more mentally ready. They have less injuries. I think they are just a better playoff team.
I mean, for me, this was the most irrelevant series. Like, I forgot the Golden Knights were even in the playoffs. I don't think I watched one game of this series, but Vegas, they just, I mean, they won the Cup a few years ago. I think they could go pretty far, but they have Edmonton in the next round.
Yep.
So we'll see how that plays.
Yeah, and then talking about Edmonton, they played the Kings in our last round one series. They won 4-2. Kings put up a good battle. I thought they were going to win it after they got those first two. I thought, honestly, they could have been swept, but they didn't. And the Oilers won 4 in a row to win the series 4-2.
Yeah, that was a insane series.
Yeah.
The Kings cannot blow a 2-0 lead.
Nope. I mean, getting letting them get one win, okay, but being up 2-0 in the playoffs, you can't let that happen. I know every night is different, but you can't let that happen.
Yeah.
Moving on to the second round now, we have the Panthers versus Toronto. I think this is the best series out of the second round.
Yeah.
Toronto actually played last night and they won 1-0. They won 5-4. Toronto came out flying, and honestly, I didn't think Florida was able to or was going to be able to come back, but they did, but unfortunately the Leafs got this step ahead of them, and they came up ready to play. I just don't think the Panthers were mentally ready for this game.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first time in a while I've seen the Florida Panthers not prepared for a hockey game. I mean, Toronto just beat them in every category.
Yep.
I mean, it was a great game. Florida almost came back, but Toronto finally slammed the door on them with 2 minutes left in the third.
Yeah.
And
then
they were able to take game one.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then moving on to our second Eastern Conference second round, we have the Hurricanes versus the Washington Capitals, and I think this is just going to be another great series. It's first game, I'm pretty sure, is tonight.
Yeah.
I think I have the Hurricanes winning the first game. I think so. At the Capitals, I think the Hurricanes are more competitive than the Capitals. I think they just have the upper hand. They have the better, they do have the better players. Honestly, on paper, they do.
I think this is going to be the most brutal series because it's two hard-hitting teams. I think expect a lot of fights, expect a lot of physicality.
Yep, expect even at the end of the game, whichever team is losing, expect players to go at each other.
Yeah. But I honestly think my prediction, I think they split in Washington 1-1. But honestly, I think the better team here is going to be Carolina.
Yep.
I think they can upset the Capitals.
Yeah, I think Carolina will win it in 6. I think they're going to split at Washington, and then I think Carolina is going to win 2 at home, and then Washington will get one more, but then Carolina is going to get the best of them back at home.
Yeah.
Then moving on to the Western, we have Dallas versus Winnipeg. Just another great matchup. I think Dallas has the upper hand though with a shaky Hellebuck. Hellebuck has not been great.
No.
That's not Vezina type Hellebuck or Vezina type goalie. So I think that Dallas is definitely going to win this. I think it could go to 7, but I think it might even be in 5.
Yeah, I mean Winnipeg just did not have a good series against St. Louis.
Nope.
And
They're lucky to get out of that.
Yeah, but I think I'm gonna go Dallas in 6. I think Winnipeg will get 2, but the Stars are just a better team.
Yep,
I expect them to be in the
I totally agree. And then moving on to our last series, we have Edmonton versus Vegas. This is, I think, the worst series out of all, but it's still a very good series. But I think Edmonton is going to beat them. I think it will go to Game 7 though.
I think this is going to be very competitive. Not the most competitive, but this is going to be very competitive. But I'm actually going to go Vegas in 7. I think the Golden Knights. I mean, they're not the best team out on the ice, but they win, and that's all they need to do.
I just want to see Connor McDavid get a Stanley Cup. That's all I want to see. He deserves it. He's the best player in the NHL, and I think he needs a cup in the back of his head. He needs to get that one thing that he really wants. Yeah. And he already won the Four Nations Cup. I think it will be great for him if he wins this Stanley Cup this year.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's going to do it all for NHL on the highlight reel. Thank you for watching, but stay tuned for Andrew coming up next.
Hello, I am Andrew Mirzaaghasi, and I will be talking about soccer once again. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. To talk about the elephant in the room, your new Premier League champions of 2025 are Liverpool. Shocking that the season ended quicker than I expected, as there are technically 3 more match days to do. But, I mean, seriously, Liverpool were locked in for this Premier League. They were, in this league specifically, they were locked in, and they just locked in, they won it. They did not win Champions League, FA Cup, or EFL Cup. Like, I can't make this up. They had opportunities to get 4 trophies this season, and ended up with only 1. If I was a Liverpool fan, I would actually be mad, because this would not fly at all. You expect the best from your team, and you ended up winning 1 trophy. Like, really? Speaking of team with probably only winning 1 trophy, let's see. There was Man City versus Nottingham Forest in the semifinals in the FA Cup. And how did it go? Well, Man City were able to go to the finals, actually, with a 2-0 victory. I'm happy but disappointed because they're locked in this league, the FA Cup, and not with any other league or championships. I do hope they win against Crystal Palace, because then we can actually get a trophy this season. I'm going to be disappointed. I will be very well disappointed. And I'm not the only one, because even Pep Guardiola even agrees that the FA Cup would probably not even be enough for this season, which I agree. Like, seriously, like, what is this? And then in the actual Premier League, they won against the Wolves 1-0. Kevin De Bruyne just scoring. I don't understand this team at all. It bothers me so much that we went from, hey, let's win the treble, to let's barely win at all, and then Liverpool wins. Now, moving all that negativity to the side, the moment you've been waiting for, the El Clasico final in the Copa del Rey, Barcelona versus Real Madrid final. It was the most hype soccer game I've witnessed for a while. This was a very exciting game of soccer that you guys should have witnessed too. And I was able to witness it live thanks to Fubo, even though there were some technical difficulties, especially near when it came to overtime. And I hate when that happens because of all the suspense. This game had a lot of emotion, and as a Barca fan, I was really proud of this team. 120 minutes, they were able to do good. No Wendowski, no Balde. Injury report with the 2 most important players, perfect. First one to score, Pedri would score first, and then Mbappe would be the equalizer. Then Real Madrid would lead 1-2. Then came the savior of this game, Ferran Torres, to make another equalizer, making this game going to overtime. The first 15 minutes, nothing really happened. Then came the second half of the overtime, in which Modric makes the greatest pass in history. He passed it to absolutely no one and just made an open ball happen. Then Koundé comes right in and scores, making it 3-2, in which, finally, Copa del Rey goes to Barca. And I find this funny because at the end of the game, Ruger and Vikist were literally throwing ice at the referee, and they ended up getting red cards. They were showing so much bad behavior that Ruger had to make an apology on his behavior of throwing ice. Another thing I found funny was Vinny Jr. Every little single time that there should be a penalty, he would complain. And so did their coach, kept telling every time that there should be a handball. Now, I can make this joke happen. They not only lost once, they lost twice, and then 3 times. Don't know what Madrid is doing. Honestly, I don't know what they're doing. And now I heard it's gone worse because now there's more people that are being injured. So good luck, Real Madrid fans. I have no clue what your fate is going to be with all these injury players. But now, this is Barca's 33rd title for the Copa del Rey. Congratulations, Barcelona. I'll see you guys winning the La Liga and the Champions League, hopefully making a treble. But speaking of the Champions League, they faced Inter Milan, and it was another good game because it was 3-3. And this was just the first leg, people. There was a bicycle kick by Inter Milan. Then there was the Ranafina free kick. This game was good. You should have watched it to believe it. Literally, when you thought Inter Milan was going to win, then came Barca to tie it up. Perfectly fine. I hope to see the second leg, though, because that game was really good, especially unlike the Arsenal versus PSG game, in which nothing really happened. PSG just scored 1 goal, and that was it. Then there was the La Liga, which they were versing Valladolid, which was a comeback, you could say, because in the second half, Barca was able to score 2 goals, making it 2-1. Hopefully, they can continue this attitude to win the La Liga. Now, ending it in the United States, there was the Champions Cup with Inter Miami versus Vancouver Whitecaps, in which, yes, it's another Canadian soccer team. They lost 0-2. It's the first leg, so I hope they had a chance to win. That's what I thought I would say. But they didn't. Inter Miami got utterly destroyed 1-3. They are now eliminated from the Champions Cup. And April 30th was just really not a good day because I could say 3, but I'm saying 2 for the sake of my segment. Both Messi and Ronaldo got eliminated from championships in the semifinals. That was just a sad day to be a soccer fan right there. Really, really sad. In the actual MLS season, FC Dallas won against Inter Miami 4-3. This was really not a good week for Inter Miami. They just got utterly destroyed. The only win they got was over the New York Red Bulls, in which it was 4-1. My God. I guess they got angry over the losses of their championship and the other games because now they took it on the New York Red Bulls 4-1. Like, my God, that's really, really a lot. I promise this is the last thing. We go to standings. There's a lot of news here, but this was important. This was history making. Harry Kane has finally broken the curse. This man has finally won a trophy with a team. He won it with Bayern Munich. Finally did it. He was cursed to have no trophies. No matter what team he played, this man could not win a single trophy. He couldn't win the Champions League, the Premier League, or any other international championships. He just couldn't do it. But now he won. He went from Bayern, he went to Tottenham. He tried the English national football team to try to win a trophy. And now the Englishman has done it. He has finally won a trophy under Bayern Munich. So congratulations, Harry Kane. I don't know what to say, but congrats. So I know the Premier League has concluded, kind of because of an early race, but I still want to do the standings because there are still games left, even though the season ended early. So I want to at least give the standings for the 2nd place to 6th place. So here are our standings. 2nd is Arsenal with 67 points. 3rd, Man City with 64 points. 4th is Newcastle with 63 points. 5th is Chelsea with 63 points. And then 6th place goes to Nottingham Forest. Now to explain this, 2 to 5th place go to the Champions League. Meanwhile, 6th place goes to the Europa League. Man City's hanging on in 3rd place at least, but it's pretty interesting to see how 4th, 5th, and 6th will play out because they're all close together. So we'll see how it goes. I'm thinking Man City's going to go back to the Champions League just to lose to Real Madrid, honestly, because I feel like that's what's going to happen. But anything could happen in soccer, so we'll see how it goes. Thank you for watching.
Hello, welcome back to the highlight reel. Obviously, we're not in our normal shooting location, but that doesn't matter. There was still basketball on last night. Luke, what are your thoughts of the game?
So, obviously, we're going to start talking about the Knicks Celtics, and I just thought it was a great game. You know, Knicks win it 108-105 in overtime, and the whole way the Celtics were up through, like, the second quarter till, like, pretty much the last 5 minutes to say the fourth quarter, the Celtics controlled that game. They were up 20, 75-55 in the third, and the Knicks just kept fighting, fought all the way back, and ended up stealing one in Boston.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to come to school today, really. I was debating. I thought I was going to have a cold after last night. That was tough to watch from the third quarter on. I really just wanted to just throw my remote away and throw the TV away. We missed 45 threes. I'm not a math guy, but shooting 15 of 60 from 3 is not a way to win. I understand that Joe's whole thing is, we got to shoot threes. But when Tatum has Cat on him, why does he not drive? He's worked all off season to prove everybody wrong that, yes, he can go to the rim. And Jaylen Brown, he's still got one arm. He can't dribble with his left hand. Still, in the year of 2025.
Can't shoot with either hand right now.
He can't shoot. He can't dribble. I understand he's dealing with a knee injury, but my biggest issue was Kristaps.
That was pretty funny. That was so funny.
How are you going to be 7'2" and not make a layup?
Well, he didn't play the entire second half. That's what I thought was funny, that he got sick and is like, "No, I'm good.
How are you sick?
I don't need to play in this one."
How are you sick? How sick can you be to not play in a game 1 of a playoff?
He's soft.
Against your former team.
He's soft.
They hate him.
Yeah, everyone hates him. He's soft.
Al Horford, I love the guy, but he couldn't do much. Let's move on to the final play. In overtime, Brown gets the ball. And why are we giving Brown the ball? Like, I understand we're down by 3, but couldn't we drop at least a clean look for him to get the ball?
Yeah, you love Missoula so much. Where was his play there?
I don't know.
Bridges was all over that one. He read it like a corner. Came up, made the interception, Threw the ball down court, game over.
I'm not looking ahead to game 2, right, and the rest of the series. I'm not feeling worried as much as I am disappointed with last night because I know that some of the open threes are going to fall, and we were still up by 20 at one point. It's not like we just got completely blown out. It was a tough game, but we didn't get blown out.
Yeah. But there was a lot of opportunities for the Knicks to pull away and win that one. I thought the entire first quarter they should have been up 15. They ended up down 1. Brunson and Cat didn't really play that well. Brunson got them back in the game in the fourth, but ended up with 29 points. They didn't play well in the first half. Cat had like 10 points. They didn't really do much.
Yeah, they both got in foul trouble.
Yeah. And really, it was OJ and Obi who stepped up and carried them. Deuce McBride actually had a good game, too. I want to know if in game 2 you guys are going to play real basketball in the second quarter.
Real basketball.
Actual defense.
We're just going to shoot the ball.
No, I mean on the defensive side. Are you going to play defense or are you going to foul Robinson every time?
We're going to foul Robinson. Hacker Robinson now. Come on.
I don't know how you're allowed to do this. I don't understand.
We've had this rule with Shaq for like 25
Yeah, that's
years.
why they got rid of it.
And now all of a sudden, because it's happening to you, you're annoyed about it?
Yeah. I don't think...
Well,
I think if he has the ball, it should be allowed. When he doesn't have the ball, you shouldn't just be allowed to foul him and stop a fast break. Brunson going down the court for a fast break because you fouled Robinson 18 feet away on the other side of the court.
that's also why I love Joe, because he's not afraid. He doesn't care what you think. He doesn't care what anybody thinks, as long as we win, which we didn't. But as long as we win 4 out of 7, he's going to care.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be it for the highlight reel this week. Obviously, again, not our usual shooting location, but thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.